Hey everybody, this is Way to Fail, back with more Scrolls action, where today we're going to be taking a look at a replay or two of games that I went through that I thought were particularly interesting as I'm continuing to try and move up the ranked ladder. I'm almost to the 1700s, but not quite. Let's start with my game against Jubape, I think. It's a player that I played before a while ago, and we've both kind of been working our way up. You can see he's in the 1600s. I was in about the mid-1600s here as well. So I start off with a good hand that I like. I like getting the Vetter early so that I can ramp up. And you can see he plays a Ragged Wolf, by the way, so I think to myself, okay, well, this is going to work out alright. He surely can't have another one in his hand if I play my Vetter. So quick sack, play the Vetter. I just want to ramp as quick as I can. And you see that he is just going to sack for resources, and he plays another Ragged Wolf, so whoop, I was wrong. And now he has two wolves on the board, and I have next to nothing. So I do have some cards in my hand, but I decide to sack the Fertile Soil, thinking, well, I don't have a lot that I want to sack right now. I just want to be able to get rid of something, if at all possible. And right now I have pinned one of his wolves, but it looks like he's going to play something just to try and defend that wolf just a little bit. So that's a Sister of the Fox. Extra card draw. He's done 2 idle damage to me now, so he's trying to get creatures on the board just to control things as quick as possible. And that God Hand doesn't do a lot of good for me here, so I'm just continuing to sack for resources. Taking out one of his wolves. I'm ready to take 1 damage next turn. So there's not a lot I can do about that. So I ask Champering. I'm fully expecting him to do something, but no, he puts out the no die instead. So he's just going to do 1 damage to me, and he's going to get an additional growth. Because this game was pre-nerfed to him, so he can get growth energy regardless of what the tooltip says. So right now my guy is about to die. I do have 2 veterans, which are a great thing to have in your back pocket when you only need 1 more mana. So right now, if he doesn't do something, I could get some board control pretty quickly. Unfortunately, hoping that your opponent doesn't do something with 5 energy is a bad plan for success. So there he goes. Right now he has the board right back on me. And I actually sack one of the veterans. Let me think about that for a second. Because I do have a Ranger's Bane. I'm guessing my thinking was to play the Ranger's Bane on this thing, on this guy back here, but I probably should have sacked the Bane to keep the veteran, because the veteran, being able to play that 2 in a row would have put me in a better position, and probably in a place where I could have killed the no die anyway. But somehow I decided it's more important to take out the Sister of the Fox instead of using both of these attacks to pick out the veteran. So yes, this may be a Let's Play series, but that's an early misplay. And you can probably tell where this game's going to start to go. As I see the Stone Pack Moral and I think, oh god, this is going to be a growth order draw. There I am right there, right on cue. So here is a game of mine against a growth order draw deck where I say 3rd face in a row, nice. And you'll see that I'll wax a little crazy here later on. I go on a bit of a just spiel regarding what I'll say now. Growth Order deck is a good deck. It's a solid deck. It's a strong deck. But I guess where my issue is that it gets a little boring facing the same thing again and again. I've been told that going up in the rating will help because you see it less and less, but currently in the area that I'm in, it's kind of the flavor of the month deck, as it were, so a lot of people are copying it just to move up without really having to worry so much about what is necessary for high rank play. So I decide to sack for cards, move this guy up, or no, use the Fertile Soil to sack my wolf. Maybe I should have used it on my Chemfolk, but now he's down 1. And we have a little bit of talk here just in terms of what's needed in the deck, what's not needed in the deck. Even with the no-die nerf, it's still a good strong deck. And see Decimation right there, so he just clears my board. And what do I have to follow up with that board clear? Not a lot, but that first sack, I can Ranger's Bane this guy. I can drop a wolf, I can drop a Vetter. And that's probably what would be advisable for me to do, but for some reason I don't protect my Vetter up there, so he's already shown he has a tendency to play hasted units. So I'm looking back at this, there's some play that I need to clean up here. It's kind of like what I was saying before as I lose more units to his direct damage here. It's kind of what I was saying before with my game against Joyful Rogue, is that I'm an adequate growth player, but there's still some better play that I can do. It's like I can get the cards out on the board, but I gotta figure out what to do with it. But Against Growth Order here right now, I'm kind of at a card advantage, but you know that isn't necessarily going to last, especially when he can direct damage. He does have enough to Quake. He's just going to keep putting stuff out. And at this point, I really need to start getting some stuff on the board because clearing his board's only going to do so much good. I mean, what really needs to happen is I need to start doing idle damage. And it looks like I'm going for his memorials instead, so this is me criticizing my own play just a little bit. I hope you don't mind. So there's a veteran right there, along with Heritage on top of it. Now, he could have played Heritage on the veteran, but he's just banking on me to try and destroy that to give him more cards. And maybe I should, to be honest, because I can't really kill that guy this turn unless I play Crimson Bull, and even then he's not going to die. I'd have to Ranger's Bane and Crimson Bull him, but I just decide to Bane. Do I go for the Bull? No, I go for the card sack. And there we go. Kinfolk Brave is something else good that I can put out as well. So I move this guy back 1. Yes, he gets 2 more cards, but he's going to die. So bye-bye. And I try and be courteous about taking long turns, but right now I'm fully expecting another Kinfolk Veteran to come out and wax this guy. But instead he's going to put out the Zealot, and he's going to Fertile Soil him. So you can see right here, he's getting his engine started, and what I've really got to start doing is doing damage to his idols. I could Unleash Inner Power one of these guys, but I decided to sack and draw. And yeah, I would expect a Quake there. I decided to Crimson Bull since we're all almost attacking. And I get out this as well. So there we go. Some idle damage to start with. When you're fighting Growth Order, I had some early misplays, but right now it's I got to get these idols down ASAP. There's a Veteran, which is not great. There's a Divine Mark on the Veteran, which is a combo we've talked about before, because that's just going to be a hasted unit that keeps coming and coming, and Divine Mark on the Brave as well. So these enchants really kind of screw up what I want to do, because he's just going to be able to bring these guys out again. But I decided to protect my Brave with the Sister. I get a Mangy Wolf that'll let me really... That'd actually be a really good play to go ahead and take out that idol, even though that means the Veteran's going to come back. But for some reason, I just... Well, okay, duh. Let me pause there. My mistake there, and that was a mistake, and looking back you can see I didn't read it as well. The Divine Mark meant, okay, that guy's going to disappear no matter what, he goes back into my hand. And that's kind of the danger here too. If I kill this guy, whatever does the killing blow is going to go back into my hand. So I was banking on, okay, woo, I can rout, or I can trample, or relentless, or whatever it's called in this game, and take out that idol, but I screwed up instead. So I'm sitting on a God Hand and not a lot to do with it. And now he's going to be able to draw. So although I've been able to do some idle damage, I haven't been able to punch any out yet. So this is a game that I could have played better. I maybe could have put on the right pressure and ended it earlier if I had just moved my units to try and take on one idol at a time. But as it is now, I'm Quakeless. A Quake would actually be fantastic here for me, but you can see what I've done with my Quakes. But I've got to start thinking about taking out some other things. Being able to take out those 2 units is a start. Getting out the Great Wolf is a start, especially far away from this guy. Now I could Mangy next turn. And yeah, I think this might be where I start to talk, is he gets the Quake out just in time. And that board reset really favors him, because he has plenty of cards to follow up. I feel alright with the cards I have to follow up with as well. But right now he's just able to put a bunch of stuff back on the board. And that's where Quake's good. I still don't have the best Quake skills in the world. As I get rid of my God Hand, maybe that would have been a good card to keep in my pocket to take out the game later. But hindsight's 20/20, I guess. For now, though, I don't take advantage of the Mangy to take out this idol here, which may have been a mistake as well. But oh wait, there we go. So Mangy there. So there's one idol down, but still there's only so much I can do. As that Pother works perfectly to move the Kinfolk Brave, and he can just take out all kinds of things. I fully expect a rally here to clear my board, as he's just going to hurt everybody. Whoa, okay, so rally. And if you don't know what happened there, the Zealot does have a sacrifice ability that'll let you do 2 damage to a card. So he's going to be able to clear my board, and this is how you want to follow up with a Quake. And to be honest, this is a part of a game that I'm still trying to develop here, because I don't use my Quakes particularly well at this point. And you can see here, I've done some idle damage, I've done some pretty good work, but we're at turn 16, And he's got a lot more stuff on the board now than I do. That Rumble's not going to do me a ton of good. There I am protecting my Vetter. I'm talking about Denial. And Jubei is playing very well. And actually, if I remember right from what he'd said, and maybe he's already come up in chat, I think when I played him before, he was playing Energy. And that sometimes he plays the Growth Order deck just when he feels like winning. Which is kind of a weird way to look at it. Because that's kind of a disservice to his own game. Because he is playing this game very well. In fact, I've had some... There we go. That's me making a desperation Rumble there. It doesn't do me a ton of good, but I don't have a lot to play. But, yeah, it's kind of a disservice to his own play because he's playing this very well. He's playing it straight up. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's denying my ability to stay on the board, and suddenly, oh my god, it's a Growth Order deck with Royal Skirmishers. That's something you don't see, but that goes very well with what else is trying to do. Trying to spam creatures, put all the creatures. Not good game, but close. And pretty much you can see the game slipping away from me now. So we're just going to sort of, like I said, I'm going to have my little spiel here at the bottom. It's not me trying to be disrespectful, but it's just a little... I'm looking forward to seeing how the metagame develops as we continue through beta, because once we get more cards, once we get more decay on there, there should be a greater variety of decks. And right now, at least in the 1600 range, there's a lot of Growth Order draw, a lot of Mana Growth, which I'm one to talk, I know. And then not as much else, but pretty much I'm going to get dominated this turn if I can't do anything. In the Crimson Bull, maybe I have too many Crimson Bulls in this deck and I need to work on it, but there we go. So I say my piece that I've already said here. But he's played very well this game, and I don't want to take that away from him because I did make some mistakes early where I could have gotten ahead and stayed ahead. And actually, this night I ended up facing 4 Growth Order decks, and I won half my matches. It's not like it's an impossible matchup or anything. It's just that, well, what can you do? So for some reason I moved my units here. I Bane. I screw up. I think I kind of gone just like, screw it, I'm dead this turn anyway. Or pretty close to it. So there's a sister for the draw, and there's another sister for the draw. Be really hilarious if you got a Rallying right now, or a Crimson Bull, or anything else, but he's just getting a bunch of stuff on the board. And yeah, that's what I hope to do. He's like, yeah, you could have cleared my board, but why do that when you can do that next turn? Because now I have a bunch of stuff. Nah, God Hand next turn, he says. I totally believe that. So there we go. Very well played by the guy whose name, once again, I'm apparently having some pronunciation troubles. I'm a few growth short of a Quake, but that's okay. So pretty much it's just me going blah blah blah. Last game, that's shit luck. And for some reason I say I drew 2 Quakes. I don't know why I said that because I only drew 1. But apparently I can't count. Counting's not my strong skill, but yay! Here comes the God Hand, and here goes everything else. Boom, boom, boom. So good game there. Lost. Dropped me back down a little bit. But that's okay. That's rated matches. If you go and expecting to win everything, you're going to leave this game very disappointed. But very well played there. We're going to go and take a look at just one more game. But there's a good example of me facing a Growth Order deck and not playing my best, and as a result, paying for it. So quick pause while I load up the next game. Alright, so here's my second game of the set versus Vortigos, another player who I believe I have played in the past, although I'm not exactly sure when or why or how. But once again, I'm going with my Mana Growth deck, and you can see that this is a player who's rated in the high 1600s, and I'm already starting off with my Vetter on the first turn. I dropped Eye of the Eagle back in my deck, mainly because I wanted to just get some stuff back, or get some creatures back on the board. At least in the past few games as I was moving up my rankings, I saw that I was getting a little creature star, but you can see here it's another Growth deck, or it could be another Growth Order deck. And I tell him I recognize his name from somewhere, but who knows where. But I got 2 Vetters, fully expecting at this point another Ragged Wolf, because Jesus, everyone gets 2 Ragged Wolves in their opening hand, it feels like. So I go ahead and immediately sack something as soon as it comes out, so whatever it was is a mystery. But I moved to protect my Vetter. And here we go. Vortigos is going to go and put down a Sister of the Fox. He has 3 cards in his hand to my 1, but I do have a Fertile Soil out. And he is going to get another Ragged Wolf right away. So 1 turn too late for that perhaps, but he does do some damage to me. So right now he's got a bunch of weenies. I got 1 big guy. And I could play the Sister and then the Fertile Soil next turn. So that's why I plop her back to protect her. And I also get a Ranger's Bane, which is good, except that I do not believe I've sacked any cards yet. So I actually sack the Fertile Soil for energy. And that's a risky play, because I really want to stop his ability to ramp. That's why I did that. I wanted to play the Bane to drop him back down, make him try and really wait a turn, try and delay him till I can get some wolves out. Now I have 2 other Fertile Souls in my hand, so it's a calculated risk that eventually I can do something with this Sister of the Fox. Because it would have been ideal for me to sack next turn and get 4 cards. But at least in my mind at that time, killing the Vetter was more important. Especially when he doesn't have a lot on the board, and I don't want him to be able to sack to 5 growth on turn 4. I want to be able to do that. I don't want him to be able to do that. So he has 3 cards. He sacks for resources, so he's back to 4. And he gets another Vetter on the field, but this time he puts him in the front row. Now I can't take him out in 1 turn, except that, you know what, I can. So I play Sister of the Fox, and I get a Kinfolk Veteran, which I decide to sack for cards. And the reason I sack for cards is because even though that 5-man is really good, getting the cards is more important. Even if I don't need the Rumble, I can use it later. Now, let me see if I actually do this play, because one of the things I really like about the Brother of the Wolf is that you can move him, then summon, then move the wolf. So really, your Brother of the Wolf has a 4 range for summoning and dropping. So I could move him and then summon and kill that Vetter. If I'm smart, that's what I'm going to do, and I think that's actually what I do. So, oh boy, I'm leaving one of my Sisters of the Fox out in the open, perhaps, but, you know, I'll make that trade. If that means that once again he can't ramp. Because I'm finding in growth, if I can ramp faster than they can, I get in a much better shape. So he Bear Paws, which is not a curious play. It's good to have one of your units super beefy, but it does slow down his cooldown real quick. So at this point, I don't really have a ton that I can play here. Except for a Ragged Wolf, which is actually a fortuitously timed Ragged Wolf. Because I can actually Crimson Bull here and take out everything. Not everything, but I can take out his big nasty guy that he just buffed. So that was good timing on the cards. Yes, I've lost both my Sisters of the Fox, but I can use my Fertile Soil next turn on one of my wolves. Because if I have a Brother of the Wolf that can keep churning things out, those wolves are pretty much disposable. So he Bear Paws again, and Bear Paws is a really good card, don't get me wrong. But it's kind of grown out of favor in my deck a little bit. As you see, that's exactly what I sacrifice. Because it does slow your units down a little bit. It's one thing if it's like a Kinfolk Brave, who will attack every turn eventually. But sometimes you need to get that attack in right away. And you see I get 2 Great Wolves and a Ragged Wolf. That is a good draw. That's actually possibly worth delaying my Fertile Soil for. But I go ahead and summon a wolf. And what do? Do I summon another Ragged Wolf, and then do I Fertile Soil? Yes. And I don't believe I sacrificed anything that turn, so that was a small mistake on my part. I could have gotten rid of one of the Crimson Bulls there for cards. So like I said, I'm not a perfect player. I don't mind putting my games out here so that you all can pick apart my play and or learn something. But right now, I do have a good Rallying. I do have a good Great Wolf as well. So I decided to ditch the Unleash Inner Power. And we're going to go ahead and probably Great Wolf this or Crimson Bull this. So Crimson Bull to take out 2 of the units, good play. Suddenly I'm a little happier that I kept him because now I have a cheap God Hand with 2 of those cards. And I haven't even put my 2 Great Wolves on the board yet. So I could rally and Crimson Bull this next turn. And by the way, if you are going to rally your Brother the Wolf, make sure you summon first, because you can't summon twice, but you can summon then attack. So let's see how this plays out. Do I put the wolf up here? Looks like I'm going to. And then I could play the Great Wolf, I could play the Mangy. It's just a matter of, I'm thinking about what cards I want to use here. I decided to ditch one of the Great Wolves. I have so many wolves on the board that maybe it doesn't matter as much, but I do want to protect this Great Wolf. And the question now is I'm not going to Crimson Bull. So he does get to keep 1 better for now, but I do have the I have the cheapo God Hand this next turn. I also have a Mangy Wolf, which would be awesome because it'll buff my wolf and it'll let me play pretty much whatever I want to here. So there's a good Kinfolk Brave. This is probably the time to drop the mangy just to clear this row. So go ahead, sack a card, I get 2 rallyings, decide to drop the mangy, because I can use that next turn to kill this guy. So you just want to get all those cards in position, protect the mangy, move the Vader, and I do Crimson Bull this time. So I'm not going to be able to take out everybody, but at least doing enough damage to idols, because you got to start doing that eventually, will get me through here. And actually I managed to take out one of the idols with that Crimson Bull. So good play there. Get the mangy right there, and all he's going to manage to do is to hurt me just a little bit. So right now I have huge board control. If he gets a Quake, he can do a lot of damage to my units, but right now I'm so far ahead, he'd really be shooting himself a little more. So I could rally here, take out some things. I decided to play some of my other cards instead. So let's hear. I do get a wolf to use at my disposal. I can play a Sister of the Fox. This would be an awesome time to use a Thunder Surge, but this is a growth deck, so... Do I play the Sister of the Fox? No, I just opt to end my turn, which is odd because I could have played the Sister. Oh, that's right. That's this game. I say, oh shit. You know why I said oh shit? Because I had 2 rallyings on the board. See, it's been a while since I played this game, so I gotta remember there. I have 5 growth. I put all those guys there. I was totally ready to rally and take out that entire stuff. So guess what? This is a nice misclick. Another great mistake by yours truly. Huge misclick there. I meant to click rallying. That's what I get. Because now he's going to rally me. He's going to focus. And he's going to clear half of my board. So that was a huge mistake. I could have avoided all of that damage. And suddenly I go from being pretty far ahead to not. So I can rally myself here. But I decided to play the Sister of the Fox. I decided to play a Brother of the Wolf. And do I play the Ragged as well? Yes. So while I could have Ranger's Bane, I decided to save it, I think, just because I can possibly kill this guy next turn with the rally, with the Wolf Summon. So he bothers that guy up. I think he was hoping to get him down. And I'm expecting another rally here, but he gets out another Great Wolf. So suddenly my misplay here has put me in trouble. And I guess the question is, how am I going to make this work? I have a mangy that's going to do some good damage. I have a rally that I can use. I decided to go ahead and summon a wolf to make my Great Wolf even stronger. And it looks like what I'm going to do here is to go ahead and poison, and looks like I'm going to make the rally play this time. If I'm lining up these units like this to take out most of his other units. So am I going to actually click the rally? Yes, I do this time, and everybody's going to attack. And I sack for cards this time. I don't know why I missed out on that before, but there is his entire row cleared, just about. That Great Wolf's not going to survive for much longer. So this is a growth deck with a splash of order, which is good, and he is actually Dryadic powering the top guy there, which is a tough play, a tough position for him to be in. Because right now, it's pretty much, I get another Mangy Wolf, and I can end this game right here. Question is, do I end the game right here? Yes, I do, because I have those 3 idols down. So there we go. 1 loss, 1 win. Some not great play on my part, but you know what? I am able to get the cards out enough to win. So as I move up in rating, players do start to punish me more for mistakes I made. And you can see I made mistakes in both of these games, but like I said, I put these things out here to sort of be a reminder that, you know what, there are people watching. I do need to get better. I do happily take criticism or comments on my play, and you all have done a great job with that so far. But hopefully you all learned something too. I know I have, just looking at my replays. So this is Way to Fail with more Scrolls. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.